Hi, everybody. This is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and welcome to Friday Fun Live. Yay! I am back home in my Maryland home. So glad to be here. Hopefully, everything will work well. We have fast internet here. Yay! Still have my fingers crossed. Hoping in God, but also working hard to try to make things go well for you guys. Um, so glad to be back. I've got a lot of things to show you. I've got a pile of things here. But before I jump into crochet business, let's go ahead and just say hey to folks in the chat who've been waiting here so patiently. Sandra, good morning. So glad you could join us from sunny Southern California. And for the record, it is beautiful out right now. It's beautiful weather. I just put some crochet books out in the mail. Yes, my crochet books are back in my Etsy shop, but only for a short time. They will be there for about another week, and then I'm heading to Georgia to await the birth of a grandchild. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be taking care of an almost 2-year-old while I'm there who's extremely active. So you know how to pray for me, please. So if I don't get back in touch with you immediately on social media and other things, after the next week, you'll understand why. I am very preoccupied with one of the most precious little fellas in the world. Um, and let's see, we have Brat's mom. So glad to see you in the chat there, Linda. Thank you for the encouragement. She's joining us from warm, humid, and cloudy Southwest Chicago suburbs. And she's always got that reminder, hit the thumbs up if you can. And please pray for my dying aunt. Okay, I was actually looked at that earlier this morning. I was thinking of you, Linda. So I hope things are going well. And Wanda Gordon, so good to see you in the chat from North Carolina. And she says, God is so good. I cannot agree more. And thank you for taking care of our friend in the chat there, Wanda, with your kind prayers. And Angie, good morning to you. And Red Hooked. And thank you again for caring for one another the way you all do. This is such a wonderful thing about this community. It's real. We are real people, real needs. And it's great that we can do this. And Diane is joining us from New Jersey. And Love to Craft, hello to you. And Carol G and the Corn Dogs, what a great name. Good morning to you. And Kathleen from Northwest New Jersey. Nancy and Kate are in the room. Sweet. And Josie says, good morning from Northern California. And we have Hannah, our faithful, wonderful admin moderator, lovingly calling her our bouncer for those who don't like to play by the rules. Haven't had to do that in a while. So that is something we can certainly give thanks for. We used to have trouble with bots early on coming in and saying some not so nice things. And it's great to have that kind of a little more cared for with Hannah in our chat. And Jen Snow, hello to you. And Ruth says hello from Fort Ritchie. And Susan says good afternoon. Alana, glad to see you too. And thank you again, Hannah, just for greeting everybody so well. And Racine says good morning from Texas. All right, partner. I like the state of Texas. It's so much fun to go there. Unless they're having a tornado outbreak, which I got to be a part of once, and that was quite interesting, but always fun to be there. And Jen Snow says prayers for anyone who may need them. Thank you, Jen. And for Linda from Pittsburgh, PA. Wow, am I actually keeping up with the group chat today? I think I may be. Probably because things are a bit slow. Well, let me go ahead and show you some things. But before I do, there's one thing I've been meaning to say all summer long, and I forget. I have had this giant pillow sitting to remind me right beside me week after week after week when I've been home, and forgot to mention that I have a collection of pillow patterns. This is not on my YouTube channel, but this is collected as a group of, I believe it's 4 or 5, I can't remember which, but patterns for pillows. This is the largest of the 4 or 5. The others are more, smaller, normal size pillows. And it's in my Lovecraft store. So I just wanted to mention that. And they do use the same designs, patterns, mimicking the Aran Afghans to crochet, which is my first leaflet that was actually ever published. So these are older patterns written a while back, but still great for the summertime. If you just want to do some decor, you can make them in any color. You don't even have to make an Afghan to match. I mean, just a couple of pillows can just really add some interest and, pop a color to your to your summer, or even for your winter, or really any season. So I just wanted to mention that. And I wanted to show you, well, I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm going to talk about this. This is coming on Monday, finally. I just had to wait until I could get this back from my tech editor. It's called Squared and Beautiful, a very easy design. Yes, I like easy designs too. I don't want to get a bad reputation for being hard all the time, of having hard designs, because I don't think any of them are hard. Once we, sit down and learn a couple things, anybody can do these. They're all based on the fundamental stitches. But anyway, this one genuinely is fairly easy, and is a really good beginning design. And one thing that's nice about it is you only have to invest in one cake of yarn. And this is what I'm using for this. It's a DK weight. Now, if you don't want to go out and get this, you want to make this from your stash, you're always welcome to do that. This is a number 3 DK weight yarn. If you want to make it in thicker yarn, that's absolutely fine. Just make sure that you upsize your hook to match the yarn. I'm using the size H in this one. So that will be rolling out on Monday. I'm going to try to get this up on the watch channel over the weekend. So got a busy weekend. Got to get my husband to the airport for a business trip. And then after that, I get to play. So, so I will make it a point to get that up for my watch people so that you have it a little bit early. All right. Let me get back to the chat. We have BJ Thornberry says, "Hi, Bonnie, Wisconsin here. Heat alert until Monday midnight here." Oh boy. Wow. And I did see Linda. I mentioned already Linda from Pittsburgh. Welcome, Linda. She said this is the first time. I go to Pittsburgh a lot to visit one of my children who lives there with his wife. And I just love going there. The roads kind of drive me a little crazy because I'm not as familiar with them, with all the quick turns and ups and downs, but it's really, really an interesting town, really beautiful. And Ola Joe, it's good to have you in the chat. I hope you're doing well. And let's see. Oh, Jeannie, the Proverbs 31 lady. I think she says, "OMG, I was thinking of asking to make a top with broomstick lace." Yes, I am working on getting this sized. I still have to get it sized. For those of you who don't know, I just got back from about 2 weeks of elder care. And while I do have some downtime, it's not consistent downtime enough to really focus to do the sizing for other sizes on tops like this. It's like a magical inception thing you have to kind of do in your head with the math, and it needs uninterrupted concentration, which I haven't had for a couple weeks. So that's why this is delayed. But as soon as I get that, I will get this out to you. It's using a DK weight. It's an interesting combination of yarn. It's a merino hemp blend, but of course you can use any DK weight that you choose on this. It's a looser fitting top. So just so that you know that it's not a form fit, it's kind of nice and airy. So get a little ventilation, which I kind of like. All right. La 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 la. Hey, Johnny, it's good to see you in the chat. It's been a while. I know you're very busy down there in Florida. I wish I could get down there at some point. Maybe not right now. Maybe like in January when the snow is thick and deep here, or February. I would love to go back to my home state. Let's see. Brian says, first time watching from Newfoundland, Canada. Well, welcome. Brian, I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way early. I'm actually heading up near your neck of the woods come October. I don't know if you've ever been to the Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival. I never have, but my first time will be this October 23rd through the 25th. That's this year at the Delta Hotels Prince Edward, 18 Queen Street, Charlottetown. So for those of you who are in the lower 48, or even Barbara over in the Alaska, I mean, please come join me. I'm going to be teaching 5 classes in a beautiful setting. This is the land of the Anne of Green Gables, for those of you who are familiar with those childhood literature. And I'm going to be teaching Introduction to Crocheting Post Cables. I'm going to learn several different ways. Crocheting beautiful trims and borders. And I'm going to be teaching a class on Intro to Reading Crochet Patterns and Stitch Diagrams. And my promise to you on that one, especially if you've never read a crochet pattern or you're not comfortable with it, you'll be more comfortable reading crochet patterns than you are text messages from your teenage friends or teenage children. I promise you that one. You'll understand it better than your text messages. Of course, that's a little bit of a stretch, isn't it? Some of those encryptions that they send out today with all these acronyms are mind-boggling. But anyway, also multiple ways to crochet ribbing and 3 ways to crochet braided cables. So that's all at the Prince Edward Island Fiber Festival. And if you want to stay more local, and south of that location, I will be in Pittsburgh at the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival. So our Pittsburgh friend, please consider checking this out. Even if you just come to go to the market, I'll tell you it's worth it. It's worth your time. It's going to be August 22nd through the 24th. And most of it is, I promise you, the teaching part and the shopping is all indoors and air conditioning, which is perfect for the August heat. I'm going to be teaching 4 classes. I'm making a technology watch band for your Apple Watch, or a technology watch band if you're whatever, if you wear those kind of things, like I do. Multiple ways to crochet ribbing. I'll be teaching another class, Celtic Weave and Beyond. And my favorite that I am really looking forward to, this is going to be the first time teaching this one, Transforming Denim with Crochet. And all of these classes, Prince Edward Island and Pittsburgh, are open for signups now. And just know that the space is limited. So once they fill, there is a cutoff for how many students, how many seats. So and some classes are starting to fill. So you might want to just check that out if you're interested in traveling. I really look forward to both of these. I'm kind of using the Prince Edward Island. It's kind of going to be a belated anniversary trip for my husband and me, because our anniversary is next month, and I will be serving my daughter, and as we look towards the birth of a new grandbaby. So I will not be able to do a whole lot of fun stuff, but my husband's going to be joining me this time. So maybe you get a chance to meet him if he decides to come around. I don't know. And yeah, we're just really looking forward to just driving up through the northeast corridor and up through probably New York, the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I mean, just during the time when all the leaves are changing, and up through Maine and into Canada, all the way over to Prince Edward Island. So really looking forward to that. If that's something you've never done, maybe you should put this on your docket for this year. If nothing else, just for the drive up there. So anyway, Hannah is sending me a question from, is it Radha? I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. It says, I started crocheting a blanket a while ago and I had to stop as I couldn't follow you on YouTube. How do I work with you to get my doubts clarified? Wow. You can always contact me at bonniebay@me.com. I have my email in the video description. And I answer email as promptly as I can. And if you have problem areas, you can even take pictures of your work, and I will try to get to you. Just keep in mind that weekends I generally keep for family, and Sundays I keep for worship, for resting, and for church services and whatnot. So I don't respond on Sundays, just to let you know. Saturdays, it's 50-50 depending on what is happening. But generally, I stay within the 9 to 5 hours of the work week on Eastern time. But that said, you can always send me your questions, and I will be happy to try to serve as best I can. Okay. Um, let's get back to the chat here. Linda says, yeah, crazy driving. Yes. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Oh, okay. Yes. Pittsburgh. Yeah. The drivers are all right there though. I'm used to, I'm used to people outside of Washington, D.C. driving, which is generally skilled driving, but crazy fast. And I'm also kind of getting used to Atlanta drivers. I love you guys in the South. I promise. I live there most of my life. Um, but you all living around Atlanta, you got a major issue. You need to teach those people that 85 is the name of the highway and not the speed limit. Just saying. Anyway, just driving around the Beltway outside of Atlanta, nuts. But compared to that, Linda, Pittsburgh is great. I love Pittsburgh. It's just kind of funny to me whenever I'm driving in Pittsburgh. The Siri on my phone, on my cell phone, cannot keep up with the twists and turns. By the time she's saying or he's saying turn left, uh, it was already like 50 yards back that way. So that's all. That was just what I'm saying about Pittsburgh is this things are just so twisty turny. And if you're not right on top of it, you're doing it again. Reprocessing, doing it again. So anyhow. Oh, thank you for the feedback, Jeannie. I appreciate that. And let's see. Ola Joe says, doing well, thanks. Just super busy and juggling a lot, but it's a good busy. Yeah, I feel that a lot. And I don't know if you get this, Ola Joe, but as a crochet designer, I just have lots of train wrecks right up here in my head. I'll be walking into a room thinking about I need to go pick something up, and then halfway there I'll get an idea, and then I'll get to the place where I am. What was I doing here? I'm here for a purpose, and I just can't remember what. I promise you, I don't think it's old age creeping in yet. I mean, that's always a possibility once you pass 60 like I have. But I think it's just so many things on the brain, and the brain just kind of spills off that page, if you know what I mean. But I just trust that it's, and if it's other things, then I'm just really losing it. Well, I am losing it in the most happy way. I promise. Anyhow, but I think, like you say, juggling a lot. Yeah, I think I used to think that you get to a certain age and then retirement gets in, and then you just kind of coast. But it's not been that way at all. It's been speed up and hang on, because we're not even in overdrive yet. Oh boy. Oh, thank you, Jeannie. She says, I can't wait. She loves DK yarn even more. Great. Oh yes, Esther, welcome to the chat. So good to hear from you, girl. And let's see. Okay, so we have Gladys says, hi, Bonnie. Looking forward to making the blanket, getting the yarn today. Yeah, I love this blanket. I mean, this yarn. And I'm not saying this because anybody's paying me, because nobody's paying me to say one thing or another about any of the yarn that I show you. Just to let you all know, I don't work for a yarn companies, or at least not directly. There's some yarns that I like more than others, but I'm not working for them directly. And if they ever give me a bad batch, you're going to know about it. But I just really have enjoyed working with the Mandala baby yarn. I have a couple other designs out there on the market using more texture, more Celtic cabling. But which will take more than just one. But anyway, well, let me go ahead and show you. I was away when this one came out, but I'm gonna pull it out from under the other throw. I'm gonna show you. This came out a couple weeks ago, and I know it's not been that popular with y'all because it's knit and not crochet, but oh my goodness, this is so incredibly cushy. And I used this yarn, Bernat Blanket Big. It was the first time I've ever used this. I mean, look how thick this yarn is. I mean, this is seriously thick yarn. This is the thickest I've ever used. They do still have some of this, depending on where you are. They didn't have any more at the Ollie's location when I was down in South Carolina just last week or so. They had other blanket yarn there in case you're looking for that, but they don't have a really good selection of colors. But I did get this there, and they were only $4.99 each. Normally, they're in the neighborhood of about $12 each. I used 5 of these on a throw. I wished I had bought more because I would have enough to make another throw had I bought just 2 more. But I used 5 of these, and this blanket is over 60 inches long, and it's just really gonna be fun for the winter and cuddle time when we watch movies. I watch movies with my sweetheart, my sweetheart of almost 37 years. So that's what we're looking at in July. So anyway, I'll go ahead and put this one back. This is on the YouTube channel, and you can get, if you want a written pattern, honestly, you really don't need one if you follow the video, because the stitching, I feel like in knitting is somewhat easier than crochet. I hope that wasn't a bad thing or insulting to anybody who are knitting out there, but I feel like in some aspects, not all. I mean, you go to making a sweater and things, yeah, things are going to be a little more complicated, but just making a straight up blanket, it's so easy. It's just all you need to know is how to cast on, knit and purl, and then cast off, or bind off, I should say. So very, very, very easy. Let me go ahead and do something here I forgot to do earlier. Okay, that's not it either. Hold on a second. I'm trying to, come on. All right, maybe I should just, okay, there we go. I wanted to go ahead and put this on in case I get a spam call. I don't want that to disrupt what we're going to do. Well, let me go ahead and show you another throw. I'm going to try to roll this out. I'm still not exactly sure. I need to go through my editor's notes, and I'm hoping to roll this out in the next couple of weeks. This is what I'm calling. I wanted to do this, and let me tell you why. I asked people on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram, just a basic question: do you crochet blankets in the summertime? Because generally my numbers do fall off, and I don't want to release something that's really taken months or a lot of time to prepare, and then it just flops. You know what I mean? It doesn't go anywhere. I want this to show up in people's feeds, and if it doesn't get any attention, and then YouTube thinks, well, put this one to the side and in the back room because nobody wants it. And I don't want that to happen to a texturized throw. But I asked a lot of you out there, and 95% responded, yes, we crochet all through the summer, blankets especially. So because of that, we're going to be releasing a blanket in June or July. It's going to be probably the end of June. Okay, and I'm calling this my Blue Ridge throw. And I'm going out on a limb here. I am also advertising this as a project if you've never crocheted cables, but you are either an intermediate crocheter or a confident beginner. All that to say is that you're not just starting to form chains and you don't know where to put the hook for the double crochets. If that's you, this is going to be swimming with sharks, and swimming in the deep end of the pool, as they say. But if you've just been a little intimidated, I tried to go slowly on this. And with the design process, I only have front, well, I do have back crosses with the honeycomb. So you're going to have the honeycomb stitch, which you can start looking at the videos on that now. And I have the elongated cable. And I do a little creative thing here, switching them from 2 to 1, which is still only front crosses. There are no back crosses with these cables, only front crosses. And then you have the regular honeycomb, and it just alternates throughout. So this is the throw. And again, coming soon, coming soon. It's not on the channel yet, but it will be coming soon. And as soon as I go over all the notes from my editor and make sure the pattern is ready to go, I will get that out. I use 22 of these. This is Paint Box Yarn Simply Aran. Each of these has 201 yards. Let me go ahead and do some math here for you in case you don't like this yarn. 201. Okay, so I used 22 of these, and this is 100% acrylic. Of course, they have Paint Box Yarn in wool, and they have a wool acrylic blend. It's like 25% wool. And this is color 74. Okay, so I don't know the name that they give it. They don't have the name written on the label. So if you want to use other yarn, you will need approximately 4,400 yards or so. Okay. So if you want to use, Red Heart Super Saver, or, some other fancier wool yarn, or whatever yarn that you have available to you in your locale. Because I know, a lot of folks watch us who are not in the UK or in the US, and this yarn would be really, really expensive. You don't need this yarn in particular. Get what is your favorite in your area. Okay. And that whatever works best for you. So, and the other thing I wanted to tell you about the paint box yarns, I placed a fairly large order a few days ago. And then I placed another order yesterday. I'm going to be collaborating with another designer for another throw in the future coming this fall. So we are using some of their DK weight yarn in acrylic. And just to let you know too, a lot of reasons why I like acrylic is this acrylic has been pretty good to me. They don't have many knots, which I find helpful. I can have all of it shipped to my house at really great prices. Right now, don't know how long this is going to last, but right now they're having a sale. If you order packs of 10 and maybe packs of 5 as well of this particular yarn, it's 40% off. And if your order is $65 and above, it ships free from the UK. Don't know how they can afford to do that, but that's the deal right now for the summer. So if you're looking, that's why I'm being specific about this. If you're looking for yarn for this and you like paint box yarns, it's on sale now, 40% off, free shipping. What's not to like? But do make sure that all the yarn, when you get it, has the same dye lot. If it's all packaged in the same, in the same plastic wrap, it probably is, but just verify, check, trust, but verify. Remember that? So yeah, I just want to let you know that I do have an affiliate link in the video description. You don't have to use that, but that will take you to the Lovecraft store, and you can, peruse what they have. They have a lot of other things on sale too. And they have some yarns up to 50% off that are more higher end. So be careful, have fun. You may end up like me, end up with 2 orders coming to your house. So yeah. Well, let me see what else I have on my list here. I did that. Okay. Just to let you also know, I have a video series that came out a couple weeks ago. And if you haven't taken a look at that, it's kind of fun. It's a conversation between 2 friends. My friend Jennifer Ryan and myself got together and did 2 videos. and they're called Best Crochet Advice. And of course, that's the best that we personally could come up with, and I guess you'll understand that. But between the two of us, we've been crocheting almost 100 years. So, yeah, we were both crocheting from the womb. Maybe not. But anyway, check those out. Part 2 is on my channel, and in the video description, you'll see the link to part 1. You can go to it doesn't matter what order you watch them in. It's not ranked, from 10 to 1. It's just kind of random, because a lot of the things that we talk about, I feel like are pretty important. So, if you're new to crocheting, or even if you're a veteran to crochet and you just want to see if your list is similar to our list, let me know. And I would, love to hear your feedback on that. And these are all on the well, mine is on the watch channel. I don't own the rights to Jennifer's portion, so hers is obviously not there, but I do have the link for hers. And you can go over to the YouTube channel and watch hers. Okay. Let's get back to the chat. Okay. And Gladys says, "Hi, Bonnie. Looking forward to making the blanket, getting the yarn today." Yes, okay, I think I've read that one already, but yeah. All right. And Barbara's in the chat. Hey, Barbara, it's so good to see you. It'd be so much fun to get together. I bet it's not a quick drive over to where you are in Alaska. I don't think my car is equipped to get there, but it'd be so much fun to get together. And Swati says, "Hello from Southern Cal. I hope y'all are doing well today. Happy Friday." Yes, ma'am. I still haven't written what I told you I was going to write yet, Swati. Life has just kicked into full gear here, and some other things I can't even mention, but lots going on in the background. And Hannah says to Esther, "It's interesting how you mentioned how people misspell your name. Someone spelled my name wrong this last week, and it was so weird. They spelled it Ahanaha." Yeah, yeah, it's okay. Well, I used to have a last name that was Schweitzer, and trust me, it rarely got said or spelled right. So when I got married in 1988, I thought, I am home free, right? Because my name is Barker, going from a German 10-letter name to just a basic Barker, right? Hello, Mrs. Baker. I cannot tell you how many times I get called Baker more than I do Barker. So yeah, I think no name is immune to that problem, Esther and Hannah. And Archer says, "I'm watching and working." We know all about that, right? Terry, it's so good to have you here. Hope you all are doing well. Give your kitty a scratch on the head for me, okay? And Ola Jo says, "New baby smell. Congrats. So excited for you." Yes, yes. I need to get all my sleep in now before I go south. And Barbara says, "That would be a fantastic drive." Yeah, from Maryland to Alaska. My husband and I have talked about doing that. I probably wouldn't be able to drive to where you are since you have to fly into where you live. But that's something that we've talked about. We would probably need to get a different car, or maybe a special truck or something. But also wanted to let you know, this past week, for those of you who missed it on social media, I had this on Instagram and on Facebook. And if you all are on those platforms, please follow me if you can. I do put things there occasionally that, throughout the week. And I just did a fun little book giveaway, because our car surpassed 270,000 miles as we were driving north from South Carolina this last time. And so I just put a little thing in there to say, okay, if you can tell me the make, model, and year. I know I was asking a lot. The make, model, and year of my car, I'll send you a book, any book you want, and I'll sign it and get it off in the mail. And actually, it's one of the books sitting out in the mailbox right now. So, Candace was our winner. So thank you, Candace, for sending that in. But it's funny, it's surprising to me. It didn't take long because I've talked about this in the past, just mentioned cars. Um, Nobody guessed the Miata, which obviously that's too new of a car to have that many miles on it. Uh, but she guessed correctly within about, I guess, within about 2.5 hours. We had a good guess, and a lot of people were really great guesses, saying Toyota Highlander, Toyota Rav4s, and Hondas. And it's funny because we've owned just about all, not all the cars, but we've owned a lot of those kinds of cars. We've had a Honda Accord, we've had a Honda Civic, we've had a RAV4. But yeah, when you're married 37 years and you have 5 children, you can get quite a fleet sometimes. But the answer was a 2010 Toyota Highlander. And it's, I don't want to brag on it too much, but it's got its battle scars. Hannah was driving it home one time around not too far from our house, and she was sitting at a stoplight, and a deer ran into the side of the car and had to have body work done on it. Um, and just a couple days ago, my husband went to get into it to come home. This was on this past Tuesday. I don't know if you know this, Hannah. I think maybe you do. And he noticed the tire was flat. There's a big chunk of metal that they pulled out of the tire, and it was such a big piece of metal and left such a big hole. The tire was no longer pluggable. So we went ahead and got some new tires, since those tires were close to being replaced anyway. So I mean, yeah, we've gone through some tires, lots and lots of oil changes. That's the key to keeping these um, vehicles on the road, is just change that oil religiously every 3,000 miles or so, or whatever the manufacturer recommends. Yeah, Hannah says she was driving home from Lake Forest Mall with my son Joseph. Yeah, yeah, it's been a while since that happened. It's been a great car, even though the electrical stuff, radio doesn't sound quite as good anymore. AC still works, thankfully. And there's some things that are old and glitchy with it, but it's still ours, and we're hoping to drive it down to Georgia, and am hopefully going to be driving the same car to Prince Edward Island, if it just hangs in there and survives the Atlanta Beltway. Yeah, Hannah says that story about the deer being hit by the deer was during COVID, before COVID. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was another life ago then. And Swati said, that drive north is going to be so gorgeous in the fall time. Hope you will share a few pictures with us. I'm going to try, Swati. This is the drive going up to Prince Edward Island. I'm going to try to maybe do I don't know if I can, if my brain is working and if my camera and equipment work, I may try to do a, what do they call the time lapse of the trip? That would be a lot of fun. And Racine says, I so wish you were able to come to the DFW Fiber Fest. I would love to meet you. Yeah, I would love to have gone. I applied, I submitted classes, but they kind of went, so I'm like, whatever. I'm going to Prince Edward Island instead, so I'm not real sad. It's going to be a lot cooler there, and I'll be able to, let me show you. This is my goal. I want to get this sweater done so that I can wear it to Prince Edward Island. I'm still working on it. Still working, but I got a little bit further. I ran out of yarn, had to get another ball, and I didn't know if the dye was going to match. Remember all that? Well, I bought my yarn 2-3 years ago, according to what they said I needed, but apparently I needed more, a lot more than what the pattern said. But anyway, so I got this from here to here done while down in South Carolina. So I still have quite a bit to go. I have about this much to go before I get to the collar. I still have to work another one of these miracles, a Latvian braid. I still have a Latvian braid that's going to be right up around the collar. So I will probably take this south with me while my husband is driving. I can, work on this. So it's so much fun to drive with somebody else than doing all the driving by yourself, especially when you have like 15 to 18 hours. And I say that 15 to 18 because I don't know what the traffic's going to be. Um, Either getting out of Washington or getting around Atlanta or some of the other towns that we go near. And I don't know if for those of you who follow me on Facebook, it had an interesting trip coming home on Monday. We were on I-95 and within a mile of an incident. We don't never saw pictures of what happened, but we know that electrical lines came down across both lanes, northbound and southbound I-95. This was south of Fredericksburg, Virginia. And we noticed traffic was not going anywhere. And so at the first chance, we kind of did one of those loop around that's for authorized traffic only. We kind of followed a lot of cars doing that as well. And it's a good thing that we did because it turns out this was about, I don't know, 12:30 in the afternoon, around lunchtime. And then we heard a report later that both lanes were going to be shut until 6 p.m. So it's a good thing that we got out when we did, went by Chick-fil-A, got some yummy lunch, and then had a beautiful drive through the countryside until we could find where I-95 was open again. So yeah. Okay, Hannah has a question for me. Do you still have kits with yarn and pattern available? I'm not sure what kits you're talking about. Personally, I do not sell kits, but I mean, the only kit that I'm aware of right now is this one for the Phoenix shawl. The Yarnsmith has put together the yarn as a kit, but it does not include the written pattern. The written pattern is in my Lovecraft store, and you can get the yarn from her actually at a substantial discount if you buy the yarn as a kit. If you buy the yarn individually, it's going to cost you about $15 more. But if you buy it as a kit, it's called the Phoenix shawl. Again, that's available from the Yarnsmith. You can look her up, theyarnsmith.com, and she's got it right there in her store. Okie dokie. Yeah, okay, thank you, Radha. She's going to send me a message. Have a great trip and enjoy your bundles of joy. Thank you. Yeah, and I'll respond. I respond where, when I can. Definitely during the day. And Wanda Bigelow says, good morning. It's been a while. I just got back from an Alaskan cruise. Oh my goodness. Yesterday, I finished another widow's prayer shawl. Her husband was recently killed in a car accident by a drunk driver. Oh my goodness, that's so sad, but so wonderful that you're doing that as a ministry, Wanda. How kind of you to think of others in that way. Very, very sweet. Wow, I bet that Alaskan cruise was incredible. I've never been to Alaska. I've not been on an Alaskan cruise. Yeah, that would be so amazing. That's on my bucket list. That's something I would love, love, love to do. And I know people say, oh, let's do a crochet trip there. It's like, if I'm on an Alaskan cruise, I am not going to be thinking much about crochet. I'm sorry. I'm going to be thinking about looking for those whales and just taking in the landscape. Although it would be fun. It'd be fun to hang out with crochet folks, because you guys are fantastic. I just don't know that I'd want to be working the whole time, if you know what I mean. I know some crocheters do that. And do have a wonderful experience. But if I'm on a boat, I'm going to want to see where I'm going. And Lynn says, good morning, Sister Bonnie and everyone in the chat. Hope all is well. I went to pick up my 9-year-old granddaughter from out of state, her first time riding Greyhound and in Chicago. That's fantastic, Lynn. How wonderful. I have a story for you, Lynn. I don't know. I've probably never talked about this because my granddad has been passed for probably 45 years now. He died before I got married. So at least 40 years since he passed away. But when he was alive, he worked in Cincinnati, and for 40 years he worked as a Greyhound bus mechanic, keeping all those buses running. Oh, I miss him. Yeah. But he had some great stories of riding the bus as a retiree, because when he retired, he got a lifetime pass to go anywhere he wanted to. So he and his new wife, because my grandmother passed away before I was even born, so he remarried and was married to another woman for more than 30 years. My aunt, not my aunt, my Grandma Marie. And anyway, so they've traveled all over the country on the Greyhound bus because he had this pass from having been a mechanic. And many times, sometimes, those buses will break down on the road, and he would get out of his seat and go out and fix the bus and get them back on the road. Kind of cool. ah, very, very, very interesting man. I really miss him. Anyway, that the Greyhound thing triggered that. I hope you have an absolute fantastic time with your granddaughter. That's amazing. Um, and yeah, thanks for checking in with Hannah and Esther too, Lynn. Thanks for caring for these wonderful ladies in the chat. And thanks for caring for Wanda, Hannah. I appreciate that. And Swati says, I'm really looking forward to this new throw. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to rolling it out. I really am. It's just a slow summer for some reason online, but that's okay. That's good. Everybody should be outside anyway. And Susie Pop's Creation says, I love making blankets all year. Yeah, I do too. It doesn't matter if it's too hot outside. I just turn the I don't actually turn the AC down, but um, it doesn't usually bother me. And Victoria says, hi Bonnie, hope you're well. Congratulations on the birth of your grandchild. Yep, sending you my love and best wishes from Lancashire in England. Well, thank you. Please pray for my daughter, Becky. She's still we're still having to do the labor and all of that, and just hope that she could hold on until I get down there. Swati says, oh no, I need to order more yarn. I thought you at some point said you use 3,600 yards. Well, let me double check that, Swati. I could have. Let me check that a minute, okay? Nope, nope, nope. Open recent. Let's see. Give me a second here to pull this up. I'll tell you what. Yeah, let me look that up. I need to look that up to clarify. I've got time. Okay, let's pull it up. Okay, I was wrong. I stand corrected. 18 skeins. I'm so sorry. I was thinking it was 22. I'm thinking of a different throw. So in that case, let me do the math again. Although I should be able to do that in my head. Yeah, it's about 3,600. You're right. 3,600. My bad. Thank you for helping me with that. I was going just off the top of my head. I had to look the pattern up to verify. And yes, you are correct. It's 3,600. Yeah, for that one. So that's considerably less. So basically what I would do, I would get 2 packs. I would just get 2 packs of that. That way you have two extra. But at those prices at 40% off, I mean, you can, I don't know, do something else with it, make a pillow, or, put it in yarn stash for a multicolored project later on. But I think it would be cheaper than buying them individually. I'm glad you said that, Swati. Okay. Oh, we got a lot more people. I'm so slow. Yeah. And Margita, hello. Good to have you in the chat. So glad to see you. And Nessa, it's good to have you too. She says, "Hi everyone. Currently working at the moment. I won't tell anybody, Nessa." Um, and Esther says, "Watching this while crocheting a baby blanket for a friend of mine. Excellent." Um, yeah, Hannah says, "Baker, Parker." Oh yeah, that's the other one. I probably said this before because I've been called Bonnie Parker. Does Bonnie Parker ring a bell with anybody? Um, that's those were the infamous bank robbers, Bonnie and Clyde. She was Bonnie Parker. So I have to tell people, be very careful. Make that a B, as in Bravo, not a P. As in Paul. It's B, as in Bravo, or like a dog. And I tell people. Um, yeah, and Barbara says, yeah, Mrs. Baker. Yeah. I cannot tell you. I had at least 2 forms of ID come back to me once I got married that were Baker and not Barker. I had to redo a couple of them. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyway, Swati says, "Hannah, if you see my house, you'd understand my dilemma, but I am more worried about dye lots." I'm sorry, Swati. I didn't mean to scare you terribly about that, but I've had some disasters with dye lots in my past. And Hannah says, "I mean, it's really frustrating when people mispronounce my older brother's name, Caleb. Oh yeah, sometimes they call Caleb Caleb, Mr. Caleb." Yeah, that was funny. Um, and Swati says, "How about Maryland to California?" Well, Swati, before my husband and I got married, this is before I knew Craig, he made that trip twice by himself in an unair conditioned Honda Civic. I mean, this was like an 80, I don't know, is it like an 86? No, 83. One of those really tiny Honda Civics. And he would sleep in his car at KOA campgrounds. Sometimes he'd take out his little tent, but he'd go to KOA campgrounds to get a shower. He went coast to coast, checking out colleges, almost went to college in California. And had that happen, Hannah would not be here. But anyway, I would not have gone to California. I barely had money to live in South Carolina at the time, paying for student loans and whatnot after college. But yeah, I would love to do a trip to California. I was actually talking to Craig about doing that. Maybe we would probably need to get a larger car, or a small camper. I mean, a very small camper, because I don't think I want to go from hotel room to hotel room. I think I'd want to stay outdoors as much as I could. Um, yeah, definitely be a fun drive. I'm in. I'm in. And Barbara says, prior to 2020, we made over 25 trips through and into Canada. Beautiful. However, I think your drive to see um, Anne of Green Gables sounds fantastic. Well, come join us. Come join us if you'd like. And Jet One In says, "Hi, lovely Bonnie. I'm so sorry I'm late. I needed extra sleep lately." I'm with you. I understand that one. I hope things are going well. I'm still praying for your business, Jet One In, just to let you know. I hope things are working out for you. I say that a lot, don't I? And Hannah says, "Swati, my dad has gone, yeah, gosh, cross country. Yeah, took him he did 2 trips, yeah, and the first time he did it in 2 weeks, and then it took 2 months another time. And I think that was the first time he saw whales off the coast of California too. It was very memorable from the stories I've heard. I think he lost his back windshield in Texas when a rock bounced off a tractor trailer and came in through the window, because the car didn't have air conditioning, and you're driving through Texas in the summertime, and it bounced off the window. It's a good thing it didn't hit him, and it kind of exploded out the back. We had a lot of fun stories to tell. Okay, thank you, Jet One. And she says, "Please send prayers for our family. We've had to recently make some really hard decisions to protect our mental health, and it's really weighing on us. Please pray for reunification." Definitely will. I've got that actually on the list. Um, just praying for that. Just pray for hearts of stone to be changed to a heart of flesh. Um, Esther saying, I was at a doctor's appointment recently, and the lady there completely mispronounced my name. She said a name like Estelle. Wow. And Wanda says, my husband's 2009 Chevy Tahoe has over 300,000. Wow, that's great, Wanda. Our goal is to get to at least 300,000. We're hope that's what we'll get to with this new set of tires. And if it keeps going after that, um, it's a keeper. But I'm gonna need to start saving for another one because I know we're gonna eventually need one. Thank you, Hannah. And Love to Craft says, "Oh, Hannah, your deer incident reminds me of something similar from the show Gilmore Girls." Oh boy, I'm not familiar with that show, but I bet it's funny. And let's see. And Hannah says again, "I wasn't even driving when it happened, and it was in broad daylight. Yeah, the deer just slammed into the side of their car and dented the fender. It was quite a mess." Um, and yeah, did that one. Thank you, Lynn. Thanks for the comment on the sweater. Hannah says, technically it was my second accident, but I wasn't able to exchange insurance company information with the deer. Just glad my youngest brother and I weren't hurt. Yep. The deer just shook it off and kept going, I believe. So if you're an animal fan, don't worry. The deer was not hurt in the accident. Oh boy. Thank you, Carol, for your kind words. That's beautiful sweater. Howdy, Hannah, Bonnie, and all. Carol Beth in Oregon. Wow. Great to have you join us, Carol. Oh, very, very nice. Thank you, Brad's mom. And let's see. Jet one in. Yep, that's the one for the Phoenix shawl. I forgot what it was called. Yeah, okay, great. On the kit thing. Yeah, sorry. I don't have any. I've not been in the business of like selling yarn directly, but I love to point to people who are in the business of dyeing the most gorgeous yarn I've seen on the planet. So, and the yarnsmith. Oh, let me show you something real quick. I almost forgot. Gee whiz. I tell you, sometimes I just miss the main things. For those of you who've never done Broomstick, okay, I have a beginning project for you. Very easy. And I used scratchy red heart yarn. Let's call it what it is. But because of the uh, little bit of that scratchiness, it has tension, it has resistance, which is actually helpful in making the broomstick. And this is naturally color changing yarn. The yarn does all the work for you. So in case you missed that, it's here. And I do recommend using, do I have one of these available? Of course I don't have one available. Looking around, looking around. They have big needles that you can get. You can get a size 50 knitting needle to make this. Now, if you don't have the knitting needle, a cheat that you can use a ruler, a standard ruler, and you can pull the loops up over that as long as it doesn't have like a sharp edge to it that's going to damage the yarn. So that's what I use, but the video is up on my YouTube channel. Check it out. It looks like a hard technique. It's not. I don't want to say it's easy breezy, but I've taught this to absolute beginners, like beginners who only knew the basics that I was teaching at school. And they were able to accomplish this, or some of them were. I have to show you this. The yarnsmith, remember I showed you her yarn right here? Well, let me show you some more of her yarn. This is a project. This is a cape. This is going to be a one size fits most. And I used the broomstick and I added some beads to finish it. But look at this. I know it's going to be hard to see because both of the layers, but let me just try to hold up one side of this. Can you see? Isn't that nice? I mean, this is fingering weight yarn using the broomstick and single crochet. I am using increases, but they're super easy to do. This will be coming sometime probably in the fall, but I wanted to give you an early preview, and this is how I ended. So very, very fun, a nice layer to put over, let's say if you're out, this would be great over a tank top, maybe over a black dress if you going out for a special occasion. And this yarn is just so beautiful, and it is the hand dyed. But I just wanted to show that to you. I don't even have a name for this yet, so this is going to be coming in the future. Didn't mean to delay that as long as I have, but super excited that I finally got that finished. So like I said, have been binging on Broomstick lately, and I have more ideas that I'm going to experiment with yarn in the coming weeks. So I just think it's a lovely stitch, and I think I may even try to come up with a class on this for submission for next year, for future crochet classes that are in person. So let me make sure I got everybody. Oh, thank you, Nessa. She says, "Oh, I have. It's beautiful. I loved Alaska, and I really love the cruise too. Excellent." And Love to Craft says, "Oh, Hannah, it's always a blessing when nobody gets hurt in accidents." Amen to that. I so agree. And Lynn, you're so sweet. And Phil, good to have you in our chat. Was thinking about you as I was out driving a lot on the highway, and when I-95 shut down, I was wondering, I hope Phil's not caught in this, or our friend Wanda, who's the truck driver. Oh, thank you, Gladys. She loves the scarf. And yeah, thank you, Lynn and Wanda. Yeah, that green is spectacular. I've been holding this back for about a year, just trying to save it for something special, and I just don't ever tire of that color. So you all know that greens, blues, they're everywhere behind me. Thank you, Ola Joe and Donna. And yeah, with the beads, let me show you a trick. Can I see that? Let me tell you a trick about the beads is they pop better when you have the back side, when you're working with the back side facing you, and then you slide that bead down and then finish the single crochet. If you do it with the front side facing, the bead's going to be on the back side. So I crocheted those rounds with the back side facing so that the back side of the stitches will be on the front side. Am I making sense? It sounds like I'm talking in a circle, but yeah. And Swati wants to know how many skeins of fingering? 2. Now, each of hers has like 463 yards. Okay. It's a little more of a generous yardage amount. So 2 of those, I do have some left over. So I didn't use completely. It wasn't down to the wire, so you're not going to be playing yarn chicken with this one. I don't like playing yarn chicken. More than I can say in words. I don't like playing yarn chicken. For those of you who know what yarn chicken is, it's trying to finish a project before you run out of yarn, and it's a terrible game to lose. Yeah, so you could probably 800 yards would do, Swati. Probably 800. Maybe 850. Although if you get it from the yarn from the yarn smith, you'll get the extra yardage. It's the blend of merino and a little bit of nylon for this particular yarn. And yeah, Nessa's saying to Hannah, I don't think I would be physically able to do it anymore. I can't drive long stretches like I used to. I can't either. Yeah, exactly. And Hannah says, yeah, she likes to stop at the national parks or museums on the way to my destination. Enjoyed the journey and rest stops. Yep. Yeah, thank you, Swati. Yeah, it's a really nice color green. Hannah said the last time I did that trip was 2006, but we took some nice detours in Utah to see Bryce Canyon, Hoodoos. Am I saying that right? And Grand Canyon. I haven't been out there. You can tell. I have seen the Grand Canyon at the southern rim once. I recommend making long stops along the way. Absolutely. Swati says, I hate yarn chicken too. Yes, ma'am. She said, I was working on a simple knit scarf and lost at Yarn Chicken. Glad I had a lifeline in, but after I ripped out the project, it is in timeout. Yeah. Phil says Yarn Chicken is not the same as yard chicken. I guess so. Yeah, that's the game. Yeah, Hannah says, absolutely talking about other games. My dad likes to play the game of how quickly we can go from one state to another with as little restroom stops as possible. Well, for the record, Hannah, he doesn't do that with me. He knows better. Um, Nessa says, yeah, my dad's like that too. That's funny. And Hannah says, yarn chickens smell a lot better than yard chickens. Maybe. uh, all right. Well, you take care, Esther. Well, I just wanted to go ahead and read a little encouraging something to you all. I'm going to be reading from Matthew. I've been reading in Matthew this week, and some of the Psalms. So I wanted to read again in light of, we know there's more than yarn in the world. There's a lot going on. So I just want to give you a little something to hear. This is definitely written for Christians, but if that's not you, just please listen, because the Lord has a lot to offer. And these are Jesus's words. This is in Matthew 11. I'm going to read from 25. Wait a minute, from 28 to 30. And I've read these words again and again, and they always bring hope and encouragement to my heart. And Jesus says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So I just love, love, love those words, and I hope those encourage you today. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic week. I hope to be here. That's my hope. Can't guarantee anything, but I hope to be here next Friday as well before I transition down to the South. God bless. Bye-bye.